All right, awesome. We are ready. Hi, guys. Welcome tonight. It's Blair, and
Kellie,
my thing's all set up in boxes, so I can like the Brady
you're
Bunch. Love it. Tanya, you're right there. Nicole, you're right there.
It's like the Brady Bunch, you know?
I know. I love it. So what does that make me? Hold on. Where was the mom? I think I'm the dad.
I don't know. I'm in the middle on
The
mine.
mom and the dad. Or no, it was the mom, the dad, and then all the kids, right? Anyways, we're going to have to find that picture. It's hilarious. Okay, so we're excited you guys are joining us. Tanya, that's how it was like that. Oh, you're right. They were like this. You're right.
Yeah.
Which is like perfect for the 70s. Okay, so anyways, off tangent, but it has been a fun day. Kellie is super charged up on caffeine, activated cafe. She's like wired and crazy. And I am super charged up because there's so many awesome things going on, right? It was actually really hard for me to even think about doing this tonight. But then I started thinking about 10 minutes ago when I came into my office to get ready for this. And I thought, I mean, I can't think of anything more important right now than for people to hear the excitement in our voice at a Living Room Local, right? We have one Monday coming up at my house, and I'm so excited because not only do we have Thrive Fit coming out, we'll have more information for people after Thursday. We'll have the ingredients. We can print out things. That'll be exciting. But we also have this amazing triple fast start. People jump into this business, hit VIP 800, hit VIP 600. There are 4 new promoters who order 400 packs, and they are getting a ridiculous commission, right? And so if you want to hear more information on that, about the fast start, the triple fast start going on right now, go check out your 200K team pages. We did a video today. You can watch that. Get yourself all set up on that. If you don't know what's going on with Thrive Fit, if you were like underneath a rock yesterday, then go listen to the Thrive Fit recording with Jason Camper, because these are all important things to educate you. But I'm going to say one more thing before I throw it over to you, Kellie, which is this is a PSA. I know that we'll have this video forever about Living Room Locals, but I want to remind you guys this one thing. Do not let, when a new product comes out, like Thrive Fit, do not feel like you need to know every single detail about this product. I've had so many questions today, and I've seen a lot of people spending a lot of time. They're like, I'm listening to that call for the 4th time, and I'm taking notes, and I'm going to go back and listen to what the video that Rob did that was 10 minutes long, all these different things. That's awesome. If you just want to educate yourself, you're excited about the product, you want to know more about it, you know, that's great. And guys, when I first started with Thrive, I listened to Paul Gravet's 24-hour call every single day on my way to take my kids after I dropped them off from school. And every day, every once a week, I listened to the product call that Jason Camper did that was like 45 minutes long. But I didn't do that so that I could memorize every single ingredient and tell it to other people, because you want to be the connector. Okay, you don't want to be the answer for everything. And if you know everything, you're never going to have a way to connect them with somebody else. Okay, so what am I doing right now? I've already had a few people ask me, what is this Thrive Fit? Does it have this? Does it have that? It's like all kinds of questions from personal people outside of Lavelle. And I said, hey, there's a really great 10-minute video from a friend of mine who's a physician assistant, but he's also super into supplements. He was about to start his own company at the time. He's super fit. Wait till you see him. You'll know what I'm talking about. I'm going to send you the video now. When you're done watching it, let's reconnect with any questions that you have. And then when the product launches on Thursday, I'll have more information on ingredients for you, right? So now I'll message them back tomorrow and say, did you have a chance to watch that 10-minute video with Rob, my friend? Do you have any questions? If they have specific questions that I don't know the answer to, I'm going to ask support. And as we all start to ask support those questions, let's also share those support tickets on the team pages, because we can all save them into our phone and save support some time. They will graciously be thankful that they're not getting a million of the same questions, and we can share those support tickets with each other, start a file, and you'll be able to share with people that way. And you can also say to them, I don't know the answer to that, but let me find out for you. What time are you free? And get them on a 3-way call. All right, so I'm off my soapbox about that. Kellie, I'm gonna let you start us, like kind of just talking about like what is a Living Room Local, or actually, you know what, I'm starting. I'm gonna start with that really quick because I know you wanna share more of your story about it. So sorry guys, I went off on a tangent. Okay, so we have had a lot of people ask me lately, like what's the difference between a Living Room Local and a hotel local, or these other big locals that they see. First and foremost, an open local with Lavelle that quite often you see on the Lavelle fan page. Maybe you see them hosted at a hotel. You have to have a 200K in attendance for it to be posted on the Lavelle fan page. Does that mean that you need to wait till you're a 200K to have a Lavelle local? No. Okay, you want to make sure that you're hosting locals right away. You want to start sharing the Thrive experience with people right away, and getting them together in a group format is just a great way to do that. All right, and I'll share a little bit about my story in a little bit, and Kelly's going to share a little bit about her story and about how these locals really catapulted our business. The difference between a local or an open local and a living room local is a living room local just means that you're inviting a few people over to your home to hear more. And I think it's a more intimate setting. It's so fun. Does it have to be in your house? No. Maybe somebody else wants to host it for you. Maybe you have a small little wine bar locally, or a Pilates studio, or a yoga place that will let you use their place in the evening. I know a few people have used chiropractor offices at night. So whatever. It's just basically getting into a small, intimate space where you can start sharing it. And what will happen is it will start to grow, and we're going to talk about that tonight. And then you'll have to go to bigger places, right? But you want to make sure that you're at least taking action and having something consistently in your area, in your community, so that you're the one that people think of when they think of the Thrive experience in your area. That's how you build a local community. All right, it's so important. And here's my little quick story about this, guys. Is when I first started, I came from the jewelry industry. So in the jewelry industry, you know, we had parties. So you would teach your hostess how to invite 8 to 10 people over to her house. Really, she needed to invite 20 to get to 10 to show up, right? And they would all be there. And guess what? That's where I booked my next show from. I knew that if I got those people in the room, they fell in love with the jewelry, they would be excited to earn free jewelry at the next show. So that was easy for me. I pretty much always would do that because that would save me time and energy if I could book a show at a show. So when I started with Lavelle, I remember saying to Elise, how am I going to get people besides calling them? Like, I feel like I got to get to the bigger networks, right? That's how I built the jewelry business. It was really only started with 10 people that I knew, and then it built into millions. And she said, you're going to do it the same way. You're going to invite people over to your house every Tuesday night. I want you to commit to doing this for 2 months straight. And so I committed, and we started with just inviting people over on a Tuesday night for a quick hour. And we're going to go through the agenda and how that works in a little bit. But we just invited people over. And I want you guys to recognize this. In the beginning, I invited people who I thought would love the Thrive experience. And sometimes we had 4 or 8 people show up. Sometimes it was me and another promoter sitting there by ourselves. 4 years later, sometimes it's still Kellie Boyson and myself and maybe Julie Walker, maybe a couple others locally here in Fort Lauderdale sitting by ourselves. That happens sometimes. Sometimes it's a bad night. Sometimes it doesn't work. But we consistently did it. And because people knew that we were having these, they were looking for the next one. And there were some great things that we did at them to remind people to come back the next week. But I think having it consistently on the same night every single week for 8 weeks straight allowed me to build a big local team. And by the end of that second month, we had to move to hotels, because my house couldn't hold all those people. I have a pretty small living area. But not only that, there were people coming and showing up that I had no idea who they were. And let's just be honest, like, I wasn't ready for those kind of people to be in my home. And so we needed to go to a bigger space. What an amazing blessing that was. So I'm sharing that because if you want to see your business explode, commit to doing these living room locals, whether it's every week, whether it's every other week, commit to doing them. They don't need to be more than an hour. And we'll share more about that tonight. So Kellie, I know that you've had living room locals in all different kinds of places. So maybe share your story about that. And also, like, what have been the best places for you guys in South Carolina for hosting those kind of locals?
Yeah. So when I first became a promoter, Amber said to me, like, we got to do a local. She happened to be in town for an open local. So I got to go to my very first open local within the first few weeks of Thriving, which was a great experience to have. I was a little lost, a little overwhelmed, but I had a living room local. I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't know how to talk about the Thrive experience, but I knew how to tell my story. I knew what was happening to me in my body, and that's all you really needed to know. And so within my VIP window, I hosted something within 5 to 7 days notice. I personally invited, and I'm going to share some tips on that in just a little bit about how to get people there, but personally invited people. And you guys, I had 2 people show up. Okay. But guess what? Those 2 people ordered right on the spot at a living room local, right? It didn't matter. And one of them is still thriving with me 3 years later, and is a promoter. So you never know what happens. Well, as I began into it, my tip for that in saying is when you have someone come in, one of the first things that you should talk to them about is, when are we getting people together? Like, when are we, and if you're not physically, like geographically close to them, you can FaceTime in, you can Zoom in. There are so many times that you can get in there via some sort of electronic device. You don't have to be like literally in their living room in your person, right? That's not a reason not to have the event. If they're uncomfortable not having it in their living room, you can choose somewhere else, which I'll share that in a minute. But I want to share with you guys a story about when I left my pharmaceutical job. BLair and all my mentors said to me, Kellie, you have to get your local market thriving. You guys, 13 months into my Thrive experience, I was still the weird one. No one here was thriving. No one. Everybody that was thriving didn't live within my small town. Y'all, I live in a town of less than 10,000 people, okay? I practically know them all. I was weird. I was the only one wearing these crazy stickers. So they said, you got to get your local market thriving. I'm like, no one wants to thrive with me. So I started having events. Every 2 weeks, I had an event. I chose a local wine shop. I chose half-price wine night because I knew I was going to be buying a bottle of wine. I didn't want it to cost me a lot of money. And I set up 3 events in a row. So I had one, and then 2 weeks later I had one, and then 4 weeks later I had one. So within 6 weeks I had 3 events. And I knew who I wanted to invite. I kept it the same place. My times alternated a little. But you guys, here's why that was so important. The first 2 times I was there by myself for 2 hours. Me, some cheese, and a bottle of wine. No, I didn't drink the whole bottle. I took it home. But the point is I sat there in a crowded place alone. And guess what? I survived. I survived till the next one, and I was alone there. But the third time, someone came. One person came. And then after that, the next time, Jessica Stevens, who is now an 80K, going for 200K, she showed up. And then, y'all, 9 months of doing that, we outgrew it. I mean, we completely outgrew it, and we had to stop having them at this place because we were taking over the place. And that's the point, is that I had it. This is what happens when you do that. Is I would invite someone and they would say, oh, I can't make it. Whether they could make it or not, whatever, they're not coming, right? And I say, no problems. I've got another event on this day. And they would say, I'm busy. I can't make it. I said, no problem. I got one in 6 weeks, 4 weeks, whenever the next one was. And a sales rule is people have a hard time telling you no 3 times in a row, right? So you keep asking them until you get a yes, and eventually people will show up. So that's sort of my story about that. And I will tell you, during that time period when I was doing that, the team I don't even know, went 6 times. I don't even know what that word is, but it grew drastically. Now this local market, I told you I was hyper tonight. This local market it's big. I mean, people know it. We have brand awareness now. So a few things I will tell you really quick, places to have them. Okay. So maybe you're not comfortable having in your living room. And that's okay. I think it's great. It's an intimate space. It's a place where people hopefully feel comfortable coming in. But if you don't feel comfortable, use a clubhouse. Use a local restaurant that maybe has a little section. I love that idea because I always meet people in the restaurant. We put our stuff out on the table. We're wearing our DFTs out. We're talking to people. You never know who you can meet. And then hotels. Obviously, as your time grows and as the people grow, as BLair mentioned, the bigger events. When you're doing those, though, when you're setting those up, I always think about the traffic flow. If I'm doing it on a Thursday night, what time is the traffic around that area? The commute here from Charlotte is bad. I'm sure it is in if you live near a larger city. So I want to think of a place do people go by this place on their way home and they can stop in for a quick thing? Is it easy to get to? Mm-hmm. Yes, off the highway, super, super easy. But I will tell you guys, if you commit to do not wait on big local events. I think they are great, and I think that they need to be attended and they need to be hosted. But I really think the magic happens in a living room, in that smaller sort of setting. So it's definitely transformed, and committing to them, you know, a certain period of time is a big win.
Totally agree. And also, guys, you know, the format, especially if you're doing it in a living room or a wine bar or any of these smaller places, you really want to commit to having it be an hour. Okay. And I know that seems scary and hard because a lot of us have a hard time thinking that we could get people in and out in an hour. But the reality is people will keep coming back if they know that it's only going to take an hour. If I'm going to stop by a wine bar on my way home from work, I'm only going to have to be there an hour and then I can leave and get home to my family, I'll do it. I'll bring people back to the next one and I'll keep coming because it's only an hour. If it's at somebody's home and I can stop by and it's only an hour and I know it's not going to go on for 2 or 3 hours, again, they'll do that. So one of the biggest things that I've learned is how to keep it in that hour. And so do I have that on here? Is about how the schedule? Nope. Okay. So guys, we have a schedule of exactly what to do, and I'll have to figure out where it is in the vault, but we have it under files on the Team Thrive for Freedom page. But here it is. Okay. This is how simple it is. All right. People come to your house, you welcome them. Give about 10 minutes for that. Okay. Then play the What is Thrive video if you can. That's a video that pops up when people first come to your website. Why? Because they've probably already seen it once when you got them their free customer account. And now they're going to be like, oh, I feel like I've seen this Thrive thing before, right? And you want brand awareness. So you're watching that video, which takes, I think, 3 or 4 minutes. When it's done, then you say, I just want to break down what the Thrive experience is, share a little bit of your story as you're sharing the 3 steps of the Thrive experience, and then make it super casual. I learned this from Paul Gravett himself when he first came to my house. I think I was in business like 3 weeks, maybe even 2 weeks. And he happened to be in town doing a big local for Gary Simmons, who was 200K at the time. And he said, if you can get 10 people or more at your house, I'll swing by and do a quick hour local. And what he did was brilliant. I didn't even know what that meant. I just got people in the room. I had like 20 people in there because I was like, oh my gosh, they want to hear from the CEO. But what he did was he just asked, he said to me, who else thriving in here? And I kind of pointed them out to him. They just started their Thrive. And so he just called on them and he said, hey, can you tell me how long have you been thriving now? So like have a plan ahead of time. Who are the 3 or 4 people that you're going to call on? They don't have to stand up in front of everybody. They can literally stay on the couch if it's a casual setting because it makes it even more casual. Once you get into maybe a hotel room or even the back room of a restaurant, you do need them to stand up so that people can hear them clearly. But in a home or in a smaller setting, you don't. And so I'll literally say, hey, Tanya, I actually was so excited about your story the other day that you were telling me. Do you mind sharing that with everybody about what your Thrive experience has been like? And then she'll share what she felt like before she started thriving, what she felt like when she first started thriving, day 1, day 3, day 5, and how she's feeling now. Right? And then you want somebody to explain how they can get their Thrive for free, have another 1 or 2 people share their quick story, then go over the rewards plan. And guys, everything I'm sharing with you right now is the 3 threes of Lavelle. Okay? So if you're looking at me like, wow, I can't believe she just spit that out. It's literally because it's the 3 threes of Lavelle. You want to always have this memorized. The 3 threes of Lavelle is number 1, the 3 core products. Okay? Number 2, it is how everyone can get their Thrive for free. Number 3, we have a simple and free business opportunity that is cloud-based with a rewards plan that pays out better than anybody else and allows you in your first 2 weeks to get paid over $1,100 in bonuses for bringing in 8 people. That's it. So then we go over all that. And then I say, hey, listen, if you want to hear a little bit more about that rewards plan, it's pretty awesome. There's a few of us in this room already who are driving our car and not paying for it every single month. Raise your hand if you're an auto bonus earner. Hey, how long have you been had your car paid for, and what are you driving? Just call out a few people. You don't have to call everybody up, not like a big hotel local, right? We're just making it casual. Call on a few people to say how long they've had their car paid for and what car they're driving, right? And then say, if you want a little bit more information about that and we earn 3 trips a year, stay after and we'll break that down a little bit more for you because we want to make sure we give you all the information you need. Then present whatever customer special that you're doing that night. And then that's it. Then I say to them, listen, we explained to you how you can get your Thrive for free. So we'd love for you to bring back some people next week at this same time or 2 weeks at this same time, same location. Because if you start thriving and you love it and you bring some people with you, they'll get to hear some stories. And we'd actually love for you to share your story about what Thrive's doing for you. And boom, now you're thriving for free. Right? So that can all happen within an hour.
I love it.
Yeah.
Some other tips for living room locals, you guys, is keep it simple. Like, I love the fact that you can just serve water. You don't need to feel like you need to have appetizers and drinks and all that. Like, keep it simple because you want to make it duplicatable. What if somebody walks into your living room and they end up loving their Thrive experience and they become a promoter on your team and they want to be able to duplicate that? You don't want it to be like it's a hassle, right? So serve water. You know, I love having little samples of the mini bar, bars. You can cut them up into mini samples. You could do Activate, you can do Lifestyle Mix. Choose something that sort of makes it fun and they get to like walk away with something. Maybe you say, hey, if you come and you purchase that night once they get there, which Blair's going to talk about how to close at these events, maybe they walk away with product. I love someone walking away, getting to start their Thrive experience tomorrow so they don't have to wait on their shipment. Also, I love encouraging, let's say you have a friend coming. Say, hey, why don't you grab 2 girlfriends and make it a girls' night? They can go to dinner, they can do whatever. And then you incentivize them for bringing their friends because it's expanding their network. And now they have 2 friends that can start with them and they can thrive for free, right? Stick to the agenda too. Like, we're big on that, but I know we expect that when we go. When we both go to locals, I remember when Blair came to my first local, which was in that time period where I was doing regular things, she said that. She said, you need to start doing local events beforehand. You need to have X amount of people. And I was like, okay, I got to do it. But stick to what your agenda is and keep it to that hour. And again, always FaceTime someone in. If you feel like you're the only thriver there that can share their story, FaceTime in one of your leaders. Everyone is easy to hop on the phone for 5 or 10 minutes and share their Thrive experience. So Blair, do you want to talk about a little bit about how to close at the events?
Yeah, and I'm going to say one more thing about keeping it simple at your house, guys, or wherever you're having it. When we first started, we had wine the first couple of times because, I don't know, we just all thought like you had to have something to entice people. And people stayed forever, like forever. And then I was like, and some people even got drunk. And I was like, I don't want to ever have one of these at my house again. And I remember, thinking that, and it was actually the night that Paul Gravette came because I was like enticing people to come over. So I served wine. And when I had to bring Paul back to the airport, and by the time I came home, like people were still at my house. I was like, seriously, I'm never doing another one of these again. And Elise said to me, we're a health and wellness company. You should have been serving water. And she was right. So I don't do that anymore. If it's at a wine bar, obviously I've got to buy wine. If they want to stay after I leave, that's fine. I'm leaving. Like I don't need to be there. But if it's at your home, really keep it to water. I know for you Southern girls, which is what I am, it's very difficult to not serve food. Okay, but you can serve Thrive Pro bars. You could even run a fun little contest. We did this a couple times ago at my house. Like we had all 4 flavors cut up, and then they had to like drop their favorite flavor in the bowl, whatever. And then we picked out a name. That person got a box of Thrive Pro bars. So, do something like that. All right. So how to close a sale at a event. You guys, this is important. You have them all there. Do not let the nerves get to you. Do not let yourself have somebody walk out without you making sure you have tried to at least close that sale. So one of the things I think is important is thinking as a group, like what is our incentive going to be for ordering tonight? Okay. If it's just you, what can you do? Maybe you have extra DFT. Like I got a ton of DFT right now. You can see in there. So like maybe we decide at mine on Monday night as a group, we decide that anybody who orders that night, $100 or more is going to get to leave with a pack of DFT, right? So they don't have to order as much as usual. Or maybe it's anybody that orders tonight gets to leave with 2 sample packs so that they can share it with 2 other people, right? Or maybe there's a special with Lavelle going on at the time. So just be prepared and know what it is that you're going to offer. When I first started, I didn't have credits. I didn't have all these awesome things that we have now. I see him, Nicole. He's trying to get in, isn't he? We didn't have, all these things that we have now. And so what did I do when I was just like, hey, if you order with me tonight, then you can take home 2 samples with you and share it with 2 other people. I always had samples. Or if you order your order tonight, then I'm going to let you take home a week's worth of the product. This is actually the one I did the most. I'm going to let you take home 7 days of the product so you can get started tomorrow. Because guys, there's a psychology behind the excitement. When you're excited about something, you're going to have a better experience. Doesn't mean that you won't have a good experience if you're not excited. Believe me, I've had plenty of grumpy pantses have great experiences. But what I'm saying is when the psychology is there and they're already excited, you want to like, you know, it's like the car salesman. He doesn't want you to leave while you're already excited about the car. He wants to close the sale there. So when we first started, if somebody ordered me, I'd let them go home with 7 days. And I said, when your product arrives, I want you to take that 7 days that I gave you for free and split it up into 2 3-day sample packs and give them to 2 people at your work, or 2 neighbors, or 2 friends, 2 people that are driving you crazy that need to feel as good as you do, right? And so that was a great way for us to close the sale. So figure out what it is for you. Everybody's is different, but you announce that while you guys are closing out. And then you say, if you have any questions, I'd love for you to come up and ask me. We have computers ready for you. Everybody that sets up themselves a free customer account tonight, that just gives you access for more information. You'll get a special goodie from us. Maybe that's an Activate sample. Maybe that's a Thrive Pro Bar sample. Whatever it is, get their information. If they came and nobody has their information, they already have a free customer account, then say, you know, great, if you post something on social media right now, you already have a free customer account. Go post something about how excited you are to try out this product, and I'll give you a free sample of that Thrive Pro Bar. Just something to, you know, you're giving them something, get something from it. The second thing is about closing the sale is I love giving them those 2 samples if they order with you, because you're asking them to bring those 2 people back. So whoever you give these to, I'm so excited for you to start them, and we'll be in communication. But I also want you to say to them, hey, I'm going to give you this. I want you to try it out, and I want you to come back with me next Tuesday to this meeting I went to last night. It was amazing. You should hear these stories, right? And so really encourage them to re-invite and bring people back the next time that they come. And that will start to become a habit for the whole team. And once you start duplication, that's how you have a thriving business. That's how your business explodes. Duplication is exactly what you need to have success in network marketing. One last tip for closing a sale. What if it's somebody you're trying to get as a promoter? They're there to hear about the business opportunity. Make sure that anybody who's interested in the business opportunity gets that little extra time for 10 or 15 minutes of explaining the rewards plan, talking about all the benefits of being a promoter, and then say to them, listen, if you haven't started on the product, we need to make sure you get started on the product. So let's talk about the different packages and which one's best for you. Do you want to have incentives for people to get started on the Thrive experience with you so that you hit your bonuses right away? And if they say yes, then say, great. Then we think the promoter pack, we know the promoter pack is the best option for you. It's the best value for your money. And you're going to get 3 months worth of products. And you can keep one of those months for yourself, maybe give the second to your spouse. And the third one, you're going to break up into samples for just a few lucky people. And that's also going to give you 10% off promo codes and 10 free shipping promo codes. That's going to help you get people to place their order with you immediately and get you to VIP 800, which we just explained. Do you feel like that's something you can do tonight? Okay, so don't be afraid to ask those questions. And if that does make you nervous, if that does if that does make you nervous, then feel free to, at that time, phone a friend, right? That's a great time to FaceTime one of your leaders. And if you're really busy, I can remember this too. Last thing, and I'll throw it back to Kelly. I remember this when I first started at one of our first couple living room locals. I had a few people who were interested in the business, but then I had like a few people who needed questions on customers. I was really the only one that could answer questions there at the time. So I said to Elise, can you be on standby in case I need you? I called in Elise on FaceTime. I gave it to the 2 people who were interested in the business. She basically did a 3-way call with them while I helped the customers place their order. And then they left, and then I was able to finish helping up these 2 people. So if you're nervous about closing the sale, you're nervous about doing those things, phone a friend, phone your upline leaders, guys. That's what we're here to help you do. And you could say, I really need to say goodbye to these guests, but I want to get you the answers and get you out of here as fast as possible because I know you're super busy and you want to get home to your family. So hold on one second. Let me see if Kelly's available. Okay. And then you get her on the phone, let her talk while you say goodbye to everybody else, get them out the door, and then finish up with these people. All right. What part are we on?
Well, let's chat about how we get people there. So we sort of know like what we're doing when we're there, when we're at the locals, what the locals look like, but how do you get people there? Because obviously the pre-work and the follow-up is, you can have a great event, but if you don't get people there and you're not following up with them, the event can just sort of dissolve. So the best way, in my opinion, to personally get people there is to personally invite them, like picking up the phone. I know that sounds foreign to a lot of people because we're so text happy, But people don't expect a phone call. And guess what? They may not answer. A lot of times I remember calling people. I will call them during the day and I know they're not going to, they're working or whatever they're doing. But you can leave a great voice message. I mean, how many times have I've heard Paul Gravett say that? Leave a killer voice message to them. And, in your best Thriver voice, and invite them to your event. Doing that via phone call. We have voice text, you guys. If you have iPhones, you can voice people via text. You can leave a 1-minute message, which I love. Don't leave like minutes long, y'all. People are busy. They don't want to hear all of that. Invite them, excited. They've got to come. They've got to come and listen. No pressure, just to show up and hear what you've been up to with the Thrive experience. But letting them hear your voice, okay? Because there's something totally different about, people can't interpret your excitement. There's only so many exclamation points you can put in a text. Like they've got to hear your passion, which is why live videos are so great, which is why we want to get people there. So do that. Create an event on Facebook, an Evite, some sort of reminder event so you can pop it up. And as you're doing that, as it's getting, put yourself reminders, whatever you have to do, but create some excitement in that event. If you're going to do some giveaways, talk about it, have friends invite. You can go live in these events. This is great. And then you could actually, if you create this event, you could do your local within that event. Keep everything compliant, but you can do it there. Therefore, the people who didn't make it potentially could see it, right? Flyers, like whatever sort of flyer you get, print them off. You guys, you can go and like get them on a photo thing at like Walgreens, Walmart, whatever. I can't remember what it costs, like 5 cents, 9 cents, something like that. But y'all, no joke, like when I first had my very first event, I stapled my business card to like 200 flyers and I walked to my neighborhood and stuck them in people's, paper boxes. Do something to get them there. You can go to like where you work out, where you get your oil changed, where you get your hair done, your nails done, wherever you frequent, and you can put those flyers and ask them, can you hand these out to some people who are always drinking coffee, who are always, tired, worn out, exhausted? Ask people for referrals. People want to help you, but giving them something that they can sort of walk away with. Snail mail. I know that sounds foreign, but I have Cabby, a girl that I have been purchasing Cabby clothes from. You guys, twice a year, she sends me a personal invitation to her show or wherever. She does it on Facebook. She texts me, she emails me, but I always take that invitation. I stick it inside my my calendar, and I know to make sure it goes on my calendar. So some people, you're hitting all sort of different communication angles. And then the last, but my personal favorite is the whole do me a favor and put your butt in the seat. And the reality is you guys, I learned this from BLair. BLair said to me 2 years ago about, actually, do you know that the week that you're here is going to be the 2-year anniversary that you were here? Which is kind of funny. But she said to me, you need to have 30 people.
In the fall. You're lucky.
Yeah. I know it's we saved the leaves for you this year. But y'all, she said to me, you need to have 30 people there. And I was like, what? 30 people? I mean, so what did I do? I picked up the phone and I called my girlfriends. I said, listen, I need your support. This is my first big event. This is, I've got this lady flying in from Florida, like whatever it is, get them to support you. People want to support you guys, and just say, I just need you to be there. I'm sharing my story. I'm opening it up. Whatever your role is, I need to see a friendly face. I need you to be there. Like, I need a warm body, whatever it is. You never know. They're going to be blessed. You know that they're going to love these stories when they get there. So it's important to get them there, you guys. And don't do it the day before. Like, people have lives and they're busy. Like, you've got to start inviting, you need to start inviting. I love a good 30-day window to invite to like a bigger event, but you really have to stay on top of it the last, 7 to 14 days all the way up into the event. So yeah, that's the best tips I have for getting people in the room.
So Jennifer had asked, what did you mean by going live in the event? What she means is, if you've set up an event on Facebook, guys, while you're in there, while you're at your event, you could go live. And so we did this, we haven't done it in a while, but a couple of years ago at my living room locals, we would go live. Sometimes we go live on the team page so that our team could see what a living room local looked like. Sometimes we go live on our personal feeds on Facebook, and you can go live inside of an event on Facebook. So anybody who said to you that they can't come, I love Kellie's idea about inviting them to the next one, but you could also say, awesome, I'm going to go live that night, and I'm going to pick one random person to win, blah, blah, blah. So make sure you're on there and that you comment. And also, really quick, before we go on, I forgot to say this at the very beginning. Go into the chat. If you don't know where the chat is, you go down to the bottom, you scroll over, you'll see a little chat thing. Just say when the last time it was that you went to a local or hosted a local. There's no judgment here. We're not going to like write down your name and write down the date. It's just so that I can see you, and we will pick one person to win the $25 Amazon gift card. We're going to do 2 if there's 50 or more, but there's not, and that's okay. It's okay. There's a lot going on this week. We know people are going to be watching it recording. But for those of you that are live, one of you will win a $25 Amazon gift card. All right. So I know we kind of got off a little bit there, but I want to make sure we said that. So another really great thing to do, guys, is when you're traveling somewhere. So like for me, Fort Lauderdale, Florida is my home now, but it's not where I was born and raised. And so whenever I go back to Atlanta to see my girlfriends, to see friends, I always want to make sure that I'm doing something with Thrive. And when I was first starting, I would ask people, hey, listen, I know, especially if they were already thriving. I always try to get them thriving first. So I would say to them, hey, listen, I'm coming to town. I want to hang out with you. Would you mind and would you be open to hosting a really quick happy hour, maybe for just an hour, where we can invite people over, tell them why you're loving Thrive, tell them why I'm loving Thrive. I can give them a little bit of information. We can help them place their order, and then you'll get your 2 and you'll be able to thrive for free. Or if they're interested in the business, it's a great way to show them all the people that would be interested too, right? And so now that I started doing that, I realized that I can really do that anywhere I go. And so now I'm always looking for people in different areas that I'm going to say, hey, listen, I'm really trying to expand my product in your area. Would you be open to just hosting a quick little time, an hour at the max, where I could come over and share with your friends and family about how we can help them to feel better like you are? I know you said you're not comfortable. This is what happens a lot. They're like, maybe they're one of those people that aren't doing the business because they say they don't want to sell or they're not comfortable sharing the product. I can say this is a great way that your friends and family can get all the information they need without you feeling like you're selling them, right? Because you're going to share your story, I'm going to share my story, and we'll answer any questions that they have. And so that's been a really great way that I've been able to expand in different areas. And it also allows me to be able to go and hang out with some friends when I'm in those areas. And also, guys, don't forget about checking out what the what the open local events are in all the different areas, and thinking about what friends you have in those areas. So set a time on your calendar that once a month you're going to go through the locals on the open locals on the Facebook fan page /events, and make sure that you are Facebook fan. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm exhausted tonight. And so make sure you check to see where they all are. And if you know somebody in that area, then say to them like, hey, I just noticed is this really close to you? Is that location close to you? And then they'll answer you, and you can start a conversation with them. Hey, you really might want to go check this out. Here's why. So Kellie, do you have anything more to add to that about going places with your locals?
Yeah, just one other thing, you guys. I've done this a handful of times. So like I will be doing this on Thursday. I started working on it last week. But you can actually go in the search bar on Facebook, or if you're on Instagram and you're using it, you can use certain hashtags to find people. But you guys, I will go, and my goal is always to inbox 30 to 40 people per event. But you can search up there. You can search, like I'm going to Aiken, South Carolina for an event Thursday night. So I can search Aiken Fitness, Aiken Moms, something like that. And I'll end up in like an Aiken Moms Club, or I'll end up like dropping people down, and I actually will send them a friend request, and I will inbox them, whether they accept my friend request or not. I'll inbox them an invitation. And you may not get people actually showing up. I've never had somebody show up, but I have gotten friends from it, friends on Facebook. And it's just a great way to follow up. Hey, you weren't able to come, or I don't know who you are. You weren't able to come at this time, but guess what? I'll be back in, 6 weeks. Or have you heard of Thrive? Your market is not, it's a brand new product in your area. It's just a way to meet other people. And it's an easy way to sort of cold message someone. So that's my last tip for that.
Yeah, that was a great one. So we had a question on here from Kimberly that said, do you invite people to an open local even if you can't go yourself?
I do. So I've had this happen several times. So I will go once a month. I have it just as a reminder on my iPhone. I put a lot of like monthly reminders on my iPhone for the business, and I have it set to check the fan page. And I will go and I will look what's coming up in the next 30 days. And let's say there's like, something in Dallas. Okay, well, my brother lives in Dallas. My brother is not going to go to an event, but I've met some of his friends and I sort of know some of the people from his gym, and I will message them directly and just say, and when someone says they can go, which I have had happen several times, I will look on the flyer and I'll find one of the 200Ks and I'll inbox them on Facebook and say, hey, I have a guest coming. This is their name. Can I have them look for you? Will you make them feel welcome? And you guys, they always will. And they're going to treat them just like their own guests. I can tell you that.
Yeah. And make sure they have a free customer account with you before they go.
Good point.
Okay, guys. So I know that a lot of you might hear other people out there right now. There's a lot of people who are calling themselves coaches in network marketing or coaches in all different kinds of fields. And one of the biggest things I feel like that they're selling right now is you don't have to do home meetings anymore. You don't have to do one-on-ones. You don't have to meet people face-to-face. You can do everything through your phone, everything through your computer. And listen, we are a cloud-based business, guys. It's one of my absolute favorite things about this business. I can take my business everywhere I go with me. But let's also be honest. It's a social business. It's a social networking business. Why? Because people want to hear the excitement in your voice. They want to connect with you. Remember, they're always buying you before they buy a product. So it's so important that we host these. And I look at it this way. If I do 2 a month, then that's 2 times a month that I've filled my own cup hearing other people's Thrive experience stories, whether people show up or not. And when people do show up, they love that connection with you. Now they've connected with you. They trust you. They believe in you. And from here forward, they're going to be either an amazing customer for you or an amazing promoter for you because they've connected with you personally. You spent time listening to them, hearing their desires, the things that they want to get out of this. So don't be fooled by hearing those things out there that are saying you never have to go to a meeting again. You never have to do any one-on-ones again. Okay, that's fine. You don't. And I know people who have built an amazing network marketing business. And listen, there were seasons in this business where I went months without doing any of those. But if you are in building mode, you absolutely must be having some of these living room locals because it builds your local network. It builds community. That community becomes your tribe. That tribe becomes the people that help you get to 200K because those are the people that are running alongside with you. You're not dragging them. They're running with you because they're so excited. And then you guys become friends, you become family, and then you're excited to see them. Like when I don't see my local peeps, like I can see Kellie on here right now, but when I don't see them for a while, I miss them. I'm like, hey, let's meet up for lunch. Let's go for a walk. Like, let's hang out. Like we inspire each other. And so that is part of the community that you're trying to show at these living room locals. It's not just the amazing product. It's not just hearing the stories, but they will feel the camaraderie that you have in that room. And they will also feel the truth and the authenticity of your story. And that you can't get over the phone. Anything else?
You can't. And it's so true. You guys always think, I know this is so true for me, and I could probably speak for the majority of you as well, but people want to be a part of something that's uplifting. There are so many things in this world that bring us down, that come at us, that have so much negativity. And the people in Lavelle, with the thrivers in Lavelle, like if you've ever, get an opportunity, it fills you up. And people want to be a part of that. People like to be inspired. People like to feel good. People want to be lifted up by others. And then they want to do it for other people as well. It's such a good feeling. And it happens so much at these events. And so just know that a lot of people, especially women, are looking for something like that. They really, really, truly are. And it really does. Your thrivers, your teammates, they become some of your best friends. I mean, it's just the truth. I mean, they care deeply about you and about your future. So that's all I got.
Awesome. All right, guys. So Jennifer Curvin, you won. I just did like a random number thing in my head, and you were the number. So you won. Send me a private message with your address, and you will get the $25 Amazon gift card. What's that? Is that your address? You sharing that with everybody?
Hey, the one thing really quick. I want to look at Kimberly's question. She said she wished she had more people in her area here. So I think that that's actually a really common thing. And you might have missed the very beginning of the Zoom. But when I shared there was no one here. The one thing that I did leave out about that is I met another like there were 2 other thrivers that were like within 15-20 minutes, and so we reached out to each other. I don't remember if I reached to them or they reached to me, but I said, look, like I want to invite you to my event, like show up. And a few of the events it was just us thrivers there. We weren't even on the same team, but guess what, we were people, and if they had a customer come, then I could be the 3rd person for their customer and vice versa. So that is like work, because there is probably at least one other thriver within 30 minutes of you, and ask them to get together until you build your own team locally.
Right. And maybe there's not anybody around you. And there was a 200K here locally for me when I first started. It was Gary Simmons, but his group was very different than my group, and he was already content the way they were doing things, and they weren't really interested in partnering up in the beginning, and that was okay. I was ready to build my own team. So, you know, I started with nobody, and we slowly built, and we continued to build. And so that's the whole point of having these. I love that you said that, Kelly, because it's about building your own community and your own group. And yes, if you get along with the other people in the area, and that's a great idea to partner up with them. But if you don't have anybody, that's okay too. Don't even stress about it. All right, guys. Anything else?
Thanks for hopping on, y'all. Hope this was helpful.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.